Tyla, Zara Larsson, she did it again. Let's talk about it. How y'all doing? Welcome to Let's Talk About It Music Reviews Season 12. How y'all doing? Welcome to the show. Now, I just got up, a little bit of a morning episode. It's kind of fucking cold in the goddamn morning, but here we fucking are. And we got Tyla again. I mean, it's been a while since I talked about Tyla. The music she drops is sometimes fire, sometimes it's just a little too generic in my opinion. I know she came out with some remixes of her songs, and, I could have reviewed those, but, too much Tyla is too much fucking Tyla. Let's just be honest. I don't want to listen to all that. But we got this big old collab. Now, I don't know who really Zara Larsson is. I only know her name because I've been seeing on Twitter that she's been promoting this fucking song for like 2 weeks straight. So that's the only reason why I even know who this goddamn is. But let's just get into it. Let's talk about it. Starting off with the beat. Well, I really tried to give this beat a chance, but it is just kind of the same drum loop, just looped and looped and looped throughout the whole entire song. The sample in the background does sound nice, but I will be honest with y'all. This beat could have used some beat switches. The drums could have switched up a little bit better. There just could have been some good different elements to make this song a lot better. I think this beat is a little bit too relying on the sample to keep it going. If you like samples and you do like this kind of, this type of drum style, the only problem with this type of drum style is that it always stays the goddamn same, no matter fucking what. And the only switch-ups that you do get is when the beat goes away. And I feel like that's not a switch-up. That's just kind of turning the beat volume down and calling it a goddamn day. So some beat switches would have been nice. Would have made the song a lot more listenable in my opinion. But yeah, overall this beat was just kind of okay. Tyla in the beginning verse, I'd say overall sounds pretty good. I like the vocals. I like the flows. I think Tyla overall sounds pretty good on here. And I do like the little mini flow switches on this song. I think what could have made Tyla's verse a lot better is maybe some background vocals. Maybe, switching up the vocal key. Because it is kind of in the same key. And that does kind of get a little bit old in my opinion. I wish, there was some more to it. And I do think, the She Did It Again hook is, I'm sorry. We'll talk about it next. This is the next thing up. But I will say, Tyla's verse is pretty good. I like the singing. The flows could have had some more switch-ups. Could have made it a lot more better in my opinion. But overall, I think Tyla had a pretty good beginning verse. So, nothing too bad with the beginning verse. I think it sounds pretty fucking good. My only thing is with this hook. This hook is so boring. This is just relying on the sample. And, sometimes I'll let this slide. But, when you put it on annoying-ass chickmunk vocals, and this is the goddamn hook, and the only part that, Tyla sings is She Did It Again, and then the sample just plays, that's just a little lazy in my opinion. I feel like the sample, relying on the sample like that way too much is just not really good in my opinion. I wish there was just more to the hook, because the hook is a whole bunch of fucking nothing, because it's the same drum loop, it's the same fucking beat, so the hook is even more boring. You're even wanting more switch ups. The beat stays the same throughout the whole entire goddamn song, and this hook is played like 3 times. And the 3 times this hook is played, it is the same shit. Just let the sample play. Let the sample play. Let the sample play. That, in my opinion, is pulling a Jack Harlow. That is boring as hell. And I'd rather listen to anything else that, actually makes a fucking hook. Even Tyla's second verse. She has a third verse at the end after Zara Larsson, which we will get into in a second. Even that third verse, I guess Tyla's singing a lot more. She's not really flowing, but I think some background vocals would have helped out that verse. Would have made it stand out a little bit more. I just think it's just kind of basic. It's kind of sounding the same as the first verse. So, that's a big problem in my goddamn opinion when your song sounds like the first verse, and I'm on the third fucking verse, and I'm at the end of the goddamn song. I think that's a little troubling. So, Tyla's verse, couple of verses, it's nothing bad. It sounds good. It's just, boring. And that's my big problem with these two Tyla verses. It's just pretty much boring as hell. Zara Larsson. I'd say Zara Larsson probably had my favorite verse on here. I do like the flow switches, and I do like the vocal switch up that happens in the middle of this verse. Let those background vocals shine. You know, I do like the little, like, holding out her notes, you know, that little part. I wish there was more of that. She kind of just goes back to Tyla's flow after that, so you don't get a whole lot of switch-ups, but that is a cool switch-up to have. So, overall, when I talk about Tyla, you know, Zara Larsson, she did it again. Well, she really made a fucking boring-ass goddamn song. So, overall, I just give this track a 5 out of 10. 5 out of 10, guys. What'd y'all think about it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I don't know. Let me know. If you're on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, wherever you get your podcast at, make sure you follow. Turn on notifications, guys. We're dropping new content every single day. You know, I wish Tyla would just, you know, drop like a cool R&B song. You know, I think she's done the same style just over and over and over again. It'd be cool if she did something a little bit different. All right, guys. Let's see you later. Have a good one. Yeah, guys. Bye.